God save the King!
Prince Harry feels he has been singled out for unjustified inferior treatment on account that Megxi, the Court of Appeal in London heard today. The Duke of Sussex and his spouse Meghan Markle felt pressured to step back from frontline royal obligations in 2020, as they viewed they had been no longer being included via the institution. His KC Shahid Fatima has said. Harry has flown 5.00 miles to be at the Royal Courts of Justice to assist his very own two-day attraction towards a ruling over the property. Meghan, Archie and Lilibet have to taxpayer-funded bodyguards whilst touring the UK. But hitting lower back, the Home Office's barrister stated the Duke of Sussex's attraction involves a persevered failure to see the timber for the trees. It got here as Mail Online published that Harry is no longer idea to have viewed his father King Charles earlier than the monarch jetted off for Italy for his 4-day country go to this week. The California-based royal is difficult the dismissal of his High Court prison motion towards the Home Office over the choice of the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, REVEC, that he must get hold of a distinctive diploma of safety when in the United States of his beginning due to the fact he stepped down as a full-time royal. His case has priced the British taxpayer £500 so far. Opening the Duke of Sussex's enchantment this morning, with her royal customer sat simply at the back of her, Ms. Fatima stated he had been singled out for inferior treatment when he used to be stripped of the excessive stage of safety he used to be until now given through the Metropolitan Police. When REVEC made its February 2020 selection about the appellant's defensive security, it did no longer practice its personal phrases of reference to that decision-making process. She said, including that REVEC got here up with a different and so-called bespoke process. The appellant, Prince Harry, does now not be given that bespoke capacity better. In fact, in his submission, it capacity that he has been singled out for different, unjustified and inferior treatment. Prince Harry was once sat in court docket following his lead counsel's case, sipping from a plastic bottle of nonetheless mineral water as she spoke. In written submissions submitted to the Court of Appeal today, Harry's KC, considered as a criminal trailblazer due to the fact in 2016 she grew to become Britain's first hijab-wearing barrister, said, "This attraction issues the most vital right to protection and safety of person." She continued, on January 8, 2020, the Duke of Sussex and his spouse felt pressured to step returned from the function of full-time reputable working contributors of the royal household as they viewed they had been now not being blanketed by way of the institution. However, they wished to proceed their obligations in assist of the late Queen as privately funded participants of the royal family. Ms. Fatima later stated that Harry used to be not in a role to make any knowledgeable representations to REVEC. He added, his protection does no longer show up to have been mentioned at any formal REVEC assembly and there are no reputable notes or exact minutes recording the strategy to be taken to his safety and the reason for it. According to Ms. Fatima KC, when REVEC stripped the prince of his top-level safety in February 2020, rapidly after he and spouse Meghan had introduced they have been stepping again from royal obligations and relocating to North America. It did no longer observe his personal rules. And the choose who in the past dominated REVEC had acted correctly. Used to be mistaken. Ms. Fatima stated in accordance to its very own guidelines, REVEC need to have commissioned an evaluation of Prince Harry's specific protection once from every other professional body. The Risk Management Board, it has failed to do so, rather accomplishing its choice by way of bespoke means. Ms. Fatima said, the appellant, the Duke of Sussex, does no longer take delivery of that bespoke ability higher, in fact. In his position, it ability he has been singled out for different, inferior treatment. The listening to earlier than Sir Geoffrey Voss, Lord Justice Bean, and Lord Justice Edis is due to conclude on Wednesday with a choice predicted in writing at a later date. It got here as Mail Online divulged that the king is now not thinking to have met with his youngest son when he flew into London from California at the weekend in advance of his High Court showdown today.